Hey YouTube, what's up? This is your girl Sherelle, and if you're tuning in for the very first time, be sure to subscribe to my channel, like my videos, comment down below, and share my videos on all your social media sites. And yeah, that's basically about it. The review I'll be doing tonight, it will be Tyler Perry, The Oval. We're back for another one. You see the title. Now let's get into it. So we open up with Kyle torturing Yuma, whatever her name is. He shoots her and then he drags her by her leg. And he hit one of them arteries where she bleeds out. If you paid attention in science class, biology class, you know what type of arteries to hit. I don't know, but he got it. She was bleeding out. She was hurting. But he's basically torturing her and doing all this crazy stuff with her, and she's basically, he's being Kyle, doing what Kyle does. And I'm just looking like, oh my God, I really, really can't stand him. But yeah, we open up with him torturing and Uma is in excruciating pain because Kyle's sitting up there torturing her like no tomorrow. And, he's basically telling her, submit and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, oh God, oh, how I can't stand Kyle. But let's move past that. So we move along to Gayle and the lawyer, Brian Winters. So Gayle calls Brian Winters and she's basically running it down to him. And this little hussy signs some contract. He sends her over some contract and she signs it without reading it. Yeah, who does that? So she proceeds to telling him all the stuff about her mother and father, how they both fight each other like cats and dogs, how they allow somebody to rape her. And he's like, well, can I record you? She's like, sure, I don't care, fine. Now, Gayle, you know your mother and your daddy are both crazy. And your daddy is the leader of the free world. And your mother is the first lady. POTUS, FOTUS. And you know, Victoria is not the one to be played with. They got a trick for you. They're going to get you together. We shall all see what they do to you. See, a hard head going to make a sore behind. And we going to see that Gayle hard head gets her a sore behind. That's what my mother used to tell me. A hard head makes a sore behind. And Gayle, they going to get you. Or they going to let that grandmother get you. But anywho, let's move past that. So we go to Kareem and Sharon and Sam at the pharmacy. So Sam comes in. He basically being Sam, trying to de-escalate the situation, help things better. Barry is his godson. He's trying to help him. So he comes in and he basically talks to Kareem. He was like, what are you here for, an insurance company? He said, no, I'm here to talk to you about Barry. I'm just here to see if you're willing to drop the charges against him. He's a good kid, and you doing a favor for me, basically. Like, if you scratch my back, I can scratch your back. And I'm a good ally for you to have in time of need. So Kareem is being a hothead, of course, because he wants Sharon. And he mad about Barry kicking his behind. Okay, he ain't forget about that good behind kicking that Barry done gave him, last time. So he's still hot about that. And he's just talking to Sam. He's like, are you threatening me? Sam was like, no, I ain't threatening you. I'm just letting you know. Listen, do me this favor and I'll do you that favor. Okay, whatever favor you need me to do. I'm a good ally to have. If you need me, if you do this favor for me, I'll do a favor for you. Bottom line, scratch my back and I'll scratch your back. So he was like, no, I'm not doing anything. Get out of here. I'm going to press charges and this, that, and the fourth. I'm going to make him pay. He needs to go away for a very long time for what he did. Really? You sat up there and was screwing that whole man's girlfriend. And he caught y'all both in the act. And y'all did out in the open, in the pharmacy. Come on. So Kareem is being Kareem, a hothead, and Sharon says to him, look, he's a good ally to have when you need one. And, he's just like, what, this was part of your plan? She was like, no, this was not part of my plan. But, I think Kareem, you done screwed yourself because I don't know, for some strange reason, I feel like there's more that meets the eyes with Sam. Sam. Yes, I feel that way. But we shall see. We shall see how that goes. But yes, I feel that there's more that meets the eyes besides Sam's high sex drive and all that. We like Sam. We like Sam and his wife. I'm going to need his wife to have sex with him. Because Sam is fine, and he's a good man. He's a good man, Savannah. And if you don't know where that comes from Waiting to Exhale, when Whitney Houston's mother said to her, he's a good man, Savannah. Yes. So let's move past that. We go to Nancy, Sam, and Richard back at the hospital. And Nancy is convincing Richard to take it easy and just sit down and be still. Sam comes in and basically say, Richard, we got to talk. And he's like, okay, you can say whatever you need to say to me here. So he proceeds to telling him everything that went on and letting them know exactly what happened. Like, look, Barry did not kill Ruth. And that body was not Ruth. And it was not her blood. The blood belonged to actually an animal. And the body was a woman from Ohio, from somewhere else. And, the gun belonged to someone else. It did not belong to Barry. And, so Barry's right now in the process of getting bailed out of jail. I'm trying to help him, do all the paperwork. So, Richard, he's like, okay, that's good. Baby, I told you he didn't do it. And she's like, oh, praise God. No, it ain't no praise God. Okay, Nancy, don't say that. No praise God. Okay, because you didn't believe him. Talking about, you was sure thing that he did that to that girl. See, you don't really know your son, Nancy. And there could be some truth to what he was saying to you the other week. And you might need to take heed to that. So Sam proceeds, and she was like, well, who did the gun belong to? And they was like, your nephew. And she was like, my nephew? Picky. The gun belonged to him. He gave it to Barry. And we're going to blame it all on Picky. It was Picky gun, and, Picky, we could say Picky had the car, and, Barry get off scot-free. And she said, my nephew is dead? And how you don't know your nephew dead? You don't talk to your sister, Nancy? What in the world? How you not know your sister? Oh my gracious God. Y'all that type of family, huh? But then she gets all like, no, we teaching him how to lie, and you want to blame this on my sister's son, and he dead, and this, that, and the fourth. So she gets upset and walk out, and Richard looking at Sam like, look, I'll talk to her. Eventually she gonna get over it. Because Picky is dead. Ain't nothing else we can do. And you can't charge a dead man. And on top of that, look, if it'll help Barry get off, we gonna get him off. So he can have a second chance to do right. Okay? So now let's move on past that. We have the first lady and the maid. So she comes out and she says to the maid, don't let anyone go in my room. How you going to tell her? She's the maid. She don't have no control and no power. Now, Victoria, You're usually a smart woman and smart about things, but that wasn't smart telling the maid, make sure nobody goes in this room. Come on. Spare me. Spare me with the BS, okay, Victoria? Talking about no one goes in this room. Honey, boom. Anyway, let's move past that. So the White House press secretary gets a call from Gayle's lawyer stating that he is going to, in the morning, file the paperwork for Gayle to be emancipated. And she's basically like, hold on, what is your name again? Brian Winters. Now, if you care anything about your career, you would not go through with this. And that girl is a liar. Okay? And you need to give me 24 hours. And he's like, well, are you threatening me? She said, no. I'm just saying, you need to pump your brakes on this and give me 24 hours to get back to you and tell you what it is. Okay? Because this not may be good for you, especially in this town, DC. You know how it goes. Don't you? Don't. Not so fast. So he's like, well, I'm going to give you 24 hours. Yeah, you going to give her 24 hours because you know your career is on the line. You let this hussy over here, Gayle, get you in trouble, and Victoria parents going to have you coming up stinking just the way they did Denise. I'm convinced Victoria parents, crazy Jason, or Hunter, the president, didn't kill Denise. That's how I look at it. Mama coming there like a storm, and she's getting people together left and right. So who's to say she ain't coming there like a storm and said, I'm going to get everyone out of the house, and Kyle, yes, you chop her head off or whatever. I don't know. Figure it out. Or we're going to figure out something for you. Now, she told Victoria the last time, one of you MFers is going to come up dead if I have to come back to this hellhole. And Mama looks like she is very capable of handling the situation, her and Papa. But I need to see a sit down. Tyler, give us that good old sit down with the mama, the daddy, Hunter, Victoria, and them kids, and them letting have and showing us what they truly about. Are they like Mama Pope and Papa Pope? Are they close to them? Because it almost feels that way. We can't no longer see scandal, but we love to see a good crazy person like Mama Pope and Papa Pope. But anywho, I digress. Let's move past that. Oh my Lord, this was a good episode. So we go to Kyle and Donald. And Donald is basically telling Kyle, like, look, we got some business to take care of. You need to do what you're supposed to do to get that mattress out. I got a plan to get the first lady out, yada, yada, yada. And yeah, so they're talking, mixing it up, and he's basically telling him he has the situation under control with Uma, Max, and now he's had the situation under control with the first lady. So let's skirt past that. We got Jason and Gayle. So Gayle comes in there being nice to Jason because she needs a witness to confirm her story with the lawyer and everything else to get emancipated. So she tells Jason that about what she did, and he basically like, look, girl, that man wants some money. And she's like, no, we're famous, so people will do stuff for us for free because it'll help their career. And he was like, no one does nothing for free. She was like, oh, yes, they will. And he was like, look, he's already getting everything injunction. They got a judge. He's filing, the paperwork for my emancipation. And Jason looked at her. It was like, girl, if you don't go down there and stop all of that, you're going to be in a world of trouble. See, Jason ain't stupid like Gayle is. He know that mama and daddy ain't nothing to play with. So he's like, look, if you do that, you're going to make it bad for me. And she's like, look, well, I need you to do something for me. I need you to tell me. He's like, I ain't doing that. And she's like, well, I can help you. And he's like, yeah, well, how? He's like, well, I know you like the maid. And I heard her talking about us to her boyfriend. And, I know where she lives. She lives in an apartment. Basically, they're going to, she's going to have Jason, tell Jason where Jean lives so Jason can show up there and stalk her on some crazy stuff. And he's looking at her like, now, I may like Jean, but, you are just pure evil. She was like, and so? And he was like, no, get out of my room. You only nice to me when you want something. I'm not doing that for you because mama and daddy is crazy. I ain't fooling with them and I ain't fooling with you. Be gone. Peace out. Now let's move past that. We go to, Kyle and Max. So they're in the camera room. Kyle comes in there lying through his teeth to Max, saying how he's working with the oh gosh. He's working with the FBI, the Department of Justice, and all this other stuff. Basically lying to Max, basically baiting him, trying to set him up so he can kill him. And Max just like, Kyle, I don't trust you. Get away from me. Now, Max, I know you smarter than that. Now, you don't think Kyle will set you up because you found something out on him? He set you up and got your job taken from you. This is where I don't like this, Tyler. Now, you made Max seem like he was stupid and like he went along, and I just was I wasn't feeling that. But he's like, look, man, I need your help so we can take the president down because he killed Denise, and no one lives after doing all that blood. Denise, you know how she used to bring him drugs. He got coked up and he killed her by accident, and now I need to tell the attorney general, and we need to get him locked up and all this other stuff. And he's like, I don't trust you. And if you don't trust him, you should have never went along with him. You should have been spying on him to find out what he was really about. Come on now, Max. Well, let's skirt past that. So we go to the Oval Office, and I think another aide, like two aides, were outside talking. And Hunter in his office, and he sees the one young, pretty black aide. And he's like, hey, you. She was like, me? He was like, yeah, you. Oh, he done found his Denise number 2. He was like, I like you. He was like, you, yeah. He basically said, I like you. He was like, yeah, you. I want to talk to you. How would you feel about being the new press secretary? And she was like, me? I'm just an aide. And she's all giggly talking to the president. And I'm just looking like, Ellie, whatever your name is. Child, you in danger. Do you know who this man's wife is? Girl, run. So he's hitting on her. He tells her to come in the office. He's talking to her. He's like, oh, sure. She's like, well, I don't have experience for that job. He's like, oh, sure you do. You're smart. He's like, I've seen, your resume and this, that, and the fourth and yada, yada, yada. So he got his eye on the aide. So now they up in the office and they're talking or whatever they do. So let's skirt past that. So the press secretary barges in Donald's office saying, you and I need to have a talk and we need to have a talk now, and we need to have a talk with the first lady and the president. And he is like, well, is this a security level 5 or 6? She said, yes, it is. And we need to talk right now. Immediately. We need to have a meeting with them right away. Let's get to it. Okay. I like her. Diane, press secretary, she seems like she handles the situation. So he's like, okay, well, let's meet up with them. So now Donald finds a way to get the mattress, the bloody mattress, out of the room. He has a meeting with the first lady and the president. They're down there and they can get the mattress out. Problem solved. Okay, move past that. So we go to Max and Kyle on the phone. And Kyle is basically telling him, look, I need you to get the mattress and this, that, and the fourth. I need you to hurry up and come. It's either now or never. Basically baiting him, throwing him off and trying to hurry up and, basically set him up. Like he had a plan the whole time. Him and Donald and Kyle. Donald and Kyle had a plan to set all this up. Set him and Yuma and Max up and probably kill two birds with one stone. Have him help get the mattress out the house, and on top of that, kill him in the long haul. There you have it. So let's move past that. We got the first lady, and the first lady walks in on the president, Gayle. And she comes in there like scary Sherry. She's like looking at it. When she came in there, she looked at her. She said, what the hell are you doing in here with him alone? She looking at Hunter and looking at Ellie, and he is like, that's all for now, Ellie. And she's like, oh, hi, First Lady. And she's scared to walk past her. Victoria is standing in her way. And she's scared. You better be scared. Because the same way she beat Denise behind, she gonna beat your behind. Okay? And look, Victoria, she's scary Sherry. Don't mess with her. I'm trying to tell you. But anywho, so Victoria goes to proceed in chewing Hunter out. She was like, you know what? You are stupid. What are you? You setting up for your next interview and your next victim? Does she know that you like to get high and decapitate women? She was like, you got a whole bloody mattress upstairs. And you trying to make a move on another one. You're just about as dumb as a doorknob. You don't get no dumber than dumb. So he's whatever and this, that, he's being Hunter and he don't care. He don't care. But anywho, Donald, the press secretary, walks in and they're basically saying, we need to have a meeting. We need to talk to you guys about some things. And they're like, well, let's have a meeting and let's talk. So Victoria, she's being rude to the press secretary, is like, speak, witch. I'm like, my God, do you have to be this way? You just evil. So they proceed to tell him, like, look, Gayle got in contact with a lawyer outside of the White House, and she basically told him how you guys fight each other, how you guys allow her to get raped, and so forth and on. And Hunter says to Victoria, well, this happened because of who you are. And she was like, well, this happened because of all the skirts that you've been pulling up and panties you've been trying to get in. And Victoria proceeds, she's like, well, how in the heck she was able to do all of this? Y'all are some stupid people around here, because she shouldn't have been able to do that, because you should have been monitoring her stuff. Which makes all the sense in the world. Y'all been dropping bombs lately because y'all not on it like you should. So, yeah. So they tell Hunter about what Gayle did, and let's move past that. Now we got Donald and the press secretary and talking, and they're basically trying to come up basically with a plan to work everything out. And the press secretary, I noticed when she was leaving out of the office to the Oval Office, she picks up some yellow panties. I don't know who panties those was. I don't know if they was Ellie, whatever her name is, or they was Denise panties. But they was tucked down in the couch, and she just put them in her folder and moved out. So we move past that. So we go to Omar calling Max saying, look, I'm wounded. I need you to come down, Denise. And he's like, okay, I'm going for backup. I'm going to get backup. Kyle, what I tell you, got Uma hostage, torturing her. Now he got Kyle, like Kyle got Uma calling Max down there so he can kill two birds with one stone. Okay. Now we move to Jason, the first lady, and the maid. Jason, the first lady asked Jason, who was in my room? He was like, I don't know. And, Victoria, the first lady, proceeds to saying to the maid, didn't I tell you not to let nobody in this room? Victoria, didn't I tell you she was just a maid, that she don't have that type of power? You can't be mad at her. If she says, look, the Secret Service told us to clean the room and they came in, she has no more authority over the Secret Service. The Secret Service has more authority on her. Hello. Didn't you see what Kyle did to Jean in the elevator? Told her she needs to get it together. It ain't much she can do. It ain't nothing a maid or a butler in the White House can do over Secret Service. Top flight. They top flight security around there. Super top flight security around there. Okay. Next case. So we move to Ely and the first lady. Ely and the press secretary, Diana. So she has her come in and she's basically is like, are these your panties? Lift up your dress. I was looking at her like, oh no, she didn't. Oh yeah. I know you're the press secretary, but you don't got no right telling somebody. She could easily say you tried to sexually harass her. You ever thought about that? She was like, well, I found these. And she was like, who do you think I am? What do you think I would do? Like, why would you, assume that I would screw the president? She said, well, I found these panties in the Oval. And I'm going to have forensic at the FBI run the DNA. And if this is your DNA on these panties, you're fired. Bottom line. And she was like, well, those are not mine. And she was like, I don't know what you take me for. I was just looking like, so sad. So she storms out. Now, dun, 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 we move to the last scene. Max shows up at Denise's shop. And he's looking around. He sees Uma tied up. He runs right into Kyle. They start rumbling. Tyler, you gave me a good rumble. A good fight. So you got Max. See, I knew Max had it in him. But him and Kyle, they was an all-out brawl. But you can tell Max used to be a Marine because he was getting in Kyle's pants. And I like how Uma helped in and put that sleeper on him. Like, yeah, I like how I'm liking that. But of course, Kyle, because she was bleeding out and she was weak, it was easy for him to handle her. And we just see him and Max just going at it. They just moving furniture. That's the type of fight I like to see. Two snaps up in a circle fight I like to see. But they're just going at it. Max giving it to Kyle, Kyle giving it to Max. Well, we're going to see who won the fight next week. But it was a good episode. I can't wait till next week, y'all. That's my review for Tyler Perry, the Oval episode. I forget what episode this is. Is this 21? I believe so. But until next time, you guys, see you next time. Love you much.